Zarkon sat quietly at the back of the classroom, his blue skin blending in with the shadows. He was an alien exchange student from the Vornox Empire, studying human technology on Earth. Most humans in his class didn't pay much attention to him. After all, he was different, and some students even felt uncomfortable around him. But Zarkon didn't mind. He had bigger worries than making friends. It was a warm afternoon, and the classroom was filled with the quiet hum of the professor's voice as he talked about Earth's space defense systems. The topic of the day was Earth's satellites and how they helped protect the planet from incoming threats. Zarkon wasn't really paying attention. He already knew far more about space warfare than any human on Earth, thanks to his people's advanced technology. But then, the professor asked a question that caught his attention. What do you think would happen if a highly advanced enemy ship suddenly appeared in Earth's orbit? The classroom fell silent. Some students looked at each other, unsure of what to say. It was a tough question. Earth's defenses were good, but against a truly advanced enemy, would they stand a chance? Zarkon, almost without thinking, muttered under his breath, the black warships would make sure no one ever stood a chance. A chill ran through the room. Ethan, a bright and curious engineering student sitting a few rows ahead, turned around to face Zarkon. What did you say? Zarkon's heart skipped a beat. He hadn't meant to say that out loud. His mind raced. Did anyone else hear him? He quickly looked down at his desk, pretending like nothing had happened. Nothing, Zarkon replied, trying to sound casual. But it was too late. Ethan wasn't going to let it go. No, you said something about black warships. What are those? Ethan asked, his voice louder now. A few more students started to pay attention. Zarkon felt trapped. He knew he had said too much. The black warships were a top-secret project of the Galactic Council. Warships designed for one purpose, to destroy any planet that dared to rebel against the Council. If the humans knew about them, it could cause chaos. They're nothing, Zarkon said, his voice low. Just a legend. But Ethan wasn't convinced. He leaned closer, his eyes narrowing. Come on, Zarkon. You don't believe in legends. You said that as if you've seen these warships yourself. Zarkon could feel the weight of everyone's eyes on him now. He had to be careful. I don't know what you're talking about, he said again, but his voice was shaky. Ethan sat back in his chair, still staring at him. You said black warships, and I know you meant something by it. I'm going to find out what. For the rest of the class, Zarkon stayed quiet, his mind spinning with worry. He knew he couldn't afford to let humans find out about the Galactic Council's secret warships. But it was too late. Ethan had heard him, and Ethan was smart. He wouldn't let this go. As the class ended, Zarkon rushed out of the room, hoping to avoid any more questions. But he could hear Ethan behind him talking to his friends. They were already planning to dig deeper. Zarkon knew he had made a mistake. One slip of the tongue, and now Earth's people were one step closer to discovering the dark truth about the Galactic Council. And if they did, it could mean trouble for not just Zarkon, but for all of humanity. Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the black warships. It was strange. Zarkon had said it so naturally, like it was something real, not just a legend. Something about the way the alien student acted told Ethan there was more to it. He needed to find out what. The next day, during lunch, Ethan gathered his friends in the cafeteria. Maya, a tech genius with a knack for hacking, and Jordan, a history buff who loved learning about alien cultures, sat across from him. They were used to Ethan's crazy ideas, but this time he seemed more serious. You guys remember Zarkon, right? The alien kid? Ethan asked, leaning in closer. Maya nodded. Yeah, the quiet one. What about him? Well, yesterday in class he said something strange. He mentioned something called black warships. When I asked him about it, he got really nervous. Jordan raised an eyebrow. Black warships? What's that supposed to mean? I don't know, Ethan said, shaking his head. But I think it's something big. The way he reacted, it felt like he let out a secret. Maya, always ready for a challenge, smiled. Want me to dig into it? Maybe I can find something online about these warships. Ethan nodded eagerly. Yeah. Start with anything connected to the Galactic Council. Maybe there's some hidden info we don't know about. For the next few hours, they worked together. Maya tapped away on her laptop, going deeper into the Galactic Council's public records, trying to find any mention of black warships. Jordan, on the other hand, searched old alien history books, trying to spot any hidden clues. Hours passed, but nothing came up. There was no mention of black warships anywhere. It was like they didn't exist. But Ethan wasn't ready to give up. Later that evening, they met again in Ethan's dorm room. Maya leaned back in her chair, frustrated. I can't find anything. It's like those warships are invisible. Ethan thought for a moment. Maybe they are. What if the Galactic Council is hiding them on purpose? Jordan nodded thoughtfully. It makes sense. The Council is powerful, but they're also secretive. They wouldn't want anyone knowing about their most dangerous weapons. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Ethan opened it to find Zarkon standing there looking nervous. We need to talk, Zarkon said quietly, stepping inside. Maya and Jordan exchanged glances but stayed quiet. Zarkon sat down, looking uncomfortable. He knew he had to come clean, at least a little. You shouldn't be asking about the black warships, he warned. It's dangerous. Ethan crossed his arms, staring at Zarkon. Why? What are they really? Zarkon sighed, knowing he couldn't hide the truth any longer. The black warships, they're not just ships. They're weapons. They were built by the Galactic Council to control rebellious planets or even destroy them. They're almost invisible to detection, and they can wipe out entire cities in minutes. Maya's eyes widened. And Earth, are we in danger? Zarkon hesitated. Not yet. The Council usually stays away from planets like Earth. But if they think humans are becoming too advanced or too rebellious, they might use them. Ethan's heart raced. This was bigger than he had thought. The black warships weren't just a secret. They were a threat. A threat to Earth. We need to tell people, Ethan said, standing up. The world needs to know. Zarkon shook his head quickly. No! If the Galactic Council finds out you know, they'll come for you. For all of us. You can't just tell everyone. Ethan frowned, but he understood the danger. This was a delicate situation. They needed to be careful, or Earth could be in serious trouble. We'll find another way, Ethan said, determination in his voice. We'll dig deeper, but quietly. No one needs to know, at least not yet. Zarkon nodded, but inside, he feared it was already too late. The humans were getting too close to the truth. And soon, the Galactic Council would notice. Days passed after Zarkon's warning, but Ethan and his friends couldn't stop thinking about the black warships. Even though they agreed to stay quiet, they knew they had to be ready for whatever was coming. The more they dug into the Galactic Council's secrets, the more dangerous it became. Late one night, Ethan was in his dorm room when his phone buzzed. It was a message from Maya. Something's wrong. I'm being watched. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He quickly replied, but Maya didn't answer. His mind raced. Could it be the Galactic Council? Were they already aware of what they were doing? Without wasting time, Ethan grabbed his jacket and rushed to Maya's dorm. As he approached her building, he saw a dark figure standing across the street, watching. Ethan's instincts screamed danger. He ducked behind a nearby car, his heart pounding in his chest. The figure wore a strange, sleek uniform, one that didn't look human. Ethan realized with a shock the Galactic Council had sent someone to Earth. He needed to act fast. Moving silently, he made his way around the building and used the back entrance to get inside. He found Maya's door slightly open. Carefully, he pushed it and entered, only to find Maya sitting at her desk, her face pale with fear. They know, she whispered. I think they're here. Before Ethan could answer, the lights in the room flickered, and a loud hum filled the air. They both looked out the window and saw something terrifying. A massive black ship hovering in the night sky, almost invisible except for the faint outline against the stars. It was one of the black warships. They're here, Ethan whispered, his voice barely audible. Maya quickly grabbed her laptop, her fingers moving rapidly across the keyboard. I'm trying to jam their signals. Maybe we can stop them from tracking us. But it was too late. The door burst open, and 3 tall alien soldiers entered the room. Their eyes glowed a cold, bright blue, and their weapons were unlike anything Ethan had ever seen. One of the soldiers stepped forward, his voice cold and mechanical. You have been interfering with Galactic Council operations. Come with us, or face elimination. Ethan stood frozen, unsure of what to do. But Maya, quick thinking as always, slammed her laptop shut and threw it into her backpack. Run! She yelled, grabbing Ethan by the arm. They bolted out of the room, racing down the hallway as the alien soldiers chased after them. Ethan's mind was spinning. How did the Council know they were onto them so quickly? And how were they going to escape this? As they reached the exit, they ran straight into Jordan, who had come to check on them. "What's going on?" he asked. But before Ethan could explain, the black warship outside began to glow. A bright beam of energy shot from its underside, aiming directly at the building. Without thinking, Ethan grabbed Jordan and Maya and pulled them to the ground. The beam missed by inches, blasting a hole through the wall behind them. Dust and debris filled the air, and the sound of the explosion echoed through the streets. Ethan's mind was racing. They couldn't keep running. The Galactic Council had found them, and now they were targeting anyone who knew about the black warships. "We need help," Ethan said, panting. "We can't do this alone." Maya nodded, her face set with determination. "There's only one person who might be able to stop them. Zarkon." Ethan knew she was right. Zarkon had tried to warn them, and now it was time to face the truth. They needed his help, or Earth might be destroyed by the very warships they had been trying to uncover. Ethan, Maya, and Jordan raced through the dark alleyways of the city, desperately trying to escape the alien soldiers and the black warship hovering overhead. Their hearts pounded with fear, but there was only one thought in their minds: Zarkon. "We need to find him," Maya said, panting as they stopped to catch their breath behind a building. "He's the only one who knows what's really going on." Ethan nodded. "He warned us. He must know how to stop them." Jordan, clutching his side, looked around nervously. "But where do we find him? We can't just walk back into school with that warship chasing us." Maya pulled out her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. "I've been tracking his location since the day we started investigating. He's been moving around the city. I think he knew this was coming." Ethan's eyes widened. "You tracked him? That's really smart." Maya shrugged. "We didn't have much choice. Let's hope he hasn't gone too far." Following Maya's directions, they made their way to an abandoned warehouse near the outskirts of the city. The place looked empty, but Ethan had a strange feeling in his gut. Zarkon was here. He had to be. They entered the warehouse cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the vast, empty space. Suddenly, a figure stepped out of the shadows. It was Zarkon. He looked different now, tired, worn, and scared. His usual calm expression was gone, replaced by worry. "You shouldn't have come," Zarkon said, his voice low. "The Galactic Council knows about you. They're not going to stop until you're captured. Or worse." Ethan stepped forward, his voice firm. "We didn't have a choice. You told us about the black warships, and now they're after us. We need to know the truth, Zarkon. What is the Galactic Council hiding?" Zarkon sighed deeply, running a hand through his hair. "I didn't want to involve you in this, but now that you know, there's no turning back." He motioned for them to sit, and as they did, Zarkon began to explain. The black warships were created long ago, even before the Council took full control of the galaxy. They were built as tools of power, to crush rebellions, to keep planets in line. No one was supposed to know about them, but the Council kept them hidden, waiting for the right moment to use them. Ethan frowned. "So they're just weapons? Why would they care if we found out about them?" Zarkon looked Ethan directly in the eyes. "Because they're not just weapons. The warships are alive. They are controlled by an ancient alien AI, one that can't be reasoned with. It destroys anything it sees as a threat. And now they've set their sights on Earth." Maya gasped. "Alive? You mean they think on their own?" "Yes," Zarkon replied grimly. "The Galactic Council created them to control entire civilizations without needing armies. Once a planet becomes a problem, they send a black warship. The ship targets the most advanced cities first, wiping them out. Then it moves on to the rest. There is no stopping them once they begin." Jordan spoke up, his voice trembling. "But why us? Why now?" Zarkon sighed again, looking down. "Because you're getting too close to the truth. The Council doesn't want Earth knowing about their secret weapons, especially not when humanity is growing stronger, more advanced." Ethan clenched his fists, anger boiling inside him. "So they're just going to destroy Earth just like that?" Zarkon nodded sadly. "If we don't stop them, yes." Maya's face tightened with determination. "There has to be a way." "There's always a way." Zarkon hesitated. "There is, but it's risky. The black warships can be hacked, but it requires getting close. Too close." Ethan stood up, ready for whatever it took. "Then we'll do it. We'll find a way to stop them." The tension in the air was thick as Ethan, Maya, Jordan, and Zarkon prepared for the final battle against the Galactic Council and its black warships. They had learned too much to turn back now. The fate of Earth depended on them. Zarkon laid out the plan in the dim light of the abandoned warehouse. We need to get close to the black warship hovering over the city. If we can access its systems, we might be able to take control and shut it down. Maya nodded, her eyes bright with determination. But how do we get there? The warship is heavily guarded. Ethan clenched his fists, ready to fight. We'll need a distraction, something big to pull their attention away from us. Jordan scratched his head, thinking hard. What if we set off a few small explosions? That might create chaos and give us a chance. Zarkon frowned. That could work, but we have to be careful. The soldiers will be on high alert. With a plan in mind, they gathered supplies and headed to the center of the city, where the black warship loomed ominously. Ethan could feel his heart racing with every step they took. This was it. The moment they had been preparing for. As they reached a safe spot not far from the warship, Ethan and Maya began setting up small explosives. Jordan kept watch, scanning for any signs of the alien soldiers. The distant hum of the warship filled the air, a constant reminder of the danger they were facing. "Are we ready?" Maya asked, her hands shaking slightly. "Let's do this," Ethan replied, trying to sound confident. With a quick countdown, they activated the explosives. A series of loud bangs echoed through the streets, sending clouds of smoke and debris into the air. The soldiers guarding the warship turned, eyes wide with surprise. This was their chance. "Go! Now!" Zarkon shouted, leading the charge toward the warship. They sprinted through the chaos, dodging alien soldiers and debris as they raced toward the ship. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest, adrenaline coursing through him. They were getting closer. As they reached the entrance of the warship, they encountered two alien guards. Without thinking, Ethan lunged at one, knocking it to the ground. Maya quickly followed suit, using a metal pipe she had found to take down the second guard. "Inside! Quick!" Jordan urged, and they dashed through the doorway. Inside the warship, the atmosphere was cold and dark. The walls pulsed with a strange energy, and the air felt electric. Zarkon led the way, his alien instincts guiding them through the maze of corridors. "Where do we go?" Ethan asked, trying to keep his panic at bay. Zarkon pointed ahead. "We need to reach the control room. That's where we can access the ship's systems." As they moved deeper into the ship, they heard alarms blaring. The council had realized they were inside. They could hear the soldiers coming for them. "Hurry!" Maya shouted, and they picked up their pace, adrenaline pushing them forward. Finally, they reached a large door marked with strange symbols. Zarkon approached it, tapping a series of buttons on a panel beside the door. With a loud hiss, the door slid open, revealing the control room. Inside, the room was filled with blinking lights and screens displaying data. In the center was a large console, pulsing with energy. Ethan felt a sense of urgency. They had to act fast. "Zarkon, can you hack into it?" Maya asked, her voice steady. "Yes, but I'll need time," Zarkon replied, moving to the console. Ethan and Maya stood guard at the entrance, ready to fight off any soldiers that came their way. Just then, a group of alien soldiers burst into the room, weapons drawn. "Protect Zarkon!" Ethan shouted, and they prepared for battle. Maya swung her pipe, knocking down one soldier while Ethan tackled another. The fight was fierce, and the room filled with blaster fire and shouts. Zarkon worked frantically at the console. "I'm almost there!" he yelled. Just as Ethan took down the last soldier, a loud alarm rang through the room, and the ship shook violently. "It's too late!" One of the soldiers shouted before Zarkon finally pressed the last button. In an instant, the ship went silent. The control room lights dimmed, and the hum of energy stopped. Ethan felt a wave of relief wash over him. "We did it!" Maya exclaimed, breathing heavily. Zarkon smiled, but then his expression turned serious. "Now we need to get out of here before the ship crashes." As they rushed back through the corridors, the ship shook more violently. They needed to escape quickly. Finally, they burst out into the open air just as the ship began to fall. They watched in awe as the black warship crashed harmlessly into the ground, a giant plume of smoke rising into the sky. Ethan, Maya, and Jordan cheered, their hearts filled with triumph. They had stopped the Council's weapon and protected Earth. They had faced their fears and come out stronger. In that moment, they knew they had made a difference. A small group of friends had stood up to a powerful force and had won.